Okay, so thanks everybody. I know we wouldn't get back onto the first Monday of the month, but of course last Monday was Labor Day. So next month, assuming nothing in October. I don't think anything is, so we'll be back on the first month then. But thanks for coming. And I want to turn the floor over to Sarah, who used to come a couple of years ago and is now back and has a wonderful new organization that she mentioned last month, but I wanted you to go over it a little bit more in detail. So Sarah.
So I am Sarah Adkins. For those of you that don't know me, I'm from Somerset and I went to Campbellsville University. After college, I worked in domestic violence for a few years and then I went away to law school. I really went to law school with the intention of doing public interest work. And so to that end, I've primarily done work in immigration, but I've also done a little bit of government work. I worked for Andy Bashir in the AG's office last year. Before being presented with this opportunity that I'm going to tell you about a little bit next. After law school, I went to Maxwell Street Legal Clinic on a legal fellowship and worked there for a year. Hi, Leah. And just got back into immigration work. So in November of 2018, I go to United Methodist Church. Our church was approached by a national nonprofit called Justice for Our Neighbors. And my friend and pastor asked if I'd like to get involved, and I said yes. And we, in January 2019, we formed a board. Dominique is on our board. And we fundraised last year. We filed all of our 501c3 paperwork, and we launched in January of 2020. We are a separate 501c3, but Justice for Our Neighbors provided startup funding, and they also provide a lot of institutional support for us. The Justice for Our Neighbors network provides free or low-cost immigration legal services to low-income immigrants. We're not faith-based, and we are a separate 501c3, but we benefit from the support of this network. So our main office space is at Embrace United Methodist Church in North Lexington, but something I'm going to talk about a little bit is a big part of our mission is expanding the geographic scope of legal services in Kentucky. So this is just our main office location. I'm the executive director. My main jobs are community outreach, capacity building, fundraising, but I also have a small caseload of immigration cases. Just a couple weeks ago, we hired an attorney named Ellen Finley. She just started taking cases last week, and she is already booked up several weeks. So it's a really good indication that the service is needed, and we are doing something that our community really needs. So as you guys know, there is more need in Kentucky than there are nonprofit immigration attorneys. And as we were launching, I had practiced immigration law in Kentucky, but I met with each immigration nonprofit in the state, including Leah and some others, to decide what services we could provide, what gaps there were, confirm the gaps in services, and see how we could fill in those gaps as a new nonprofit. So after meeting with the other nonprofits in the area, we decided to focus in 3 main categories. And for those of you not as familiar with immigration law, I'm just going to give a brief overview of some of these issues. So asylum law is for immigrants who can't return to their home country because they have a fear of past persecution or a well-founded fear of future persecution based on one of 5 characteristics: their political opinion, religion, race, nationality, or social group. Asylum seekers with legal representation are 5 times more likely to win their cases than without legal representation, regardless of the underlying merits of their claim. A study has shown that whether or not an immigrant is represented is the single biggest factor on whether or not they will win their case. However, asylum cases are complicated and they're long and they take sometimes years. I have a case right now that I took from another attorney that's been pending since 2016. So most nonprofits just don't have the time. When I was at Maxwell Street, we saw so many clients and we could fill up our whole caseload with smaller cases. So at Neighbors, instead of taking all of these smaller cases, we're going to focus on these larger cases so that we can save room for them. Although, as you guys know, and all the immigration attorneys here can attest, we could do the exact same work that everyone else is doing and have a full caseload as well. But we're going to intentionally turn away these types of cases, refer them to Maxwell Street and Kentucky Refugee Ministries, Catholic Charities, and try to focus on these bigger cases that take more time. And the other type of work we're doing is removal work. So several years ago, the last time I practiced immigration law, I traveled to Boone County Detention Center. This was in 2015, so things were very different. As you know, every president sets the enforcement priorities for removal of immigrants, and Obama really focused on, when I went to Boone County, everyone I interviewed there had some serious crimes in their record. That is not the case now, as you know. In 2018, there were 158,000 administrative arrests for civil immigration violations. About 50 of these had been not convicted of any type of crime, and about 40,000 extra were convicted of traffic violations like turning left without yielding, not including DUIs. We have 153,000 in ICE detention. We had 256,000 removals in 2018 and 110,000 with no criminal violations. And why this work matters is there's a backlog of over 2 million immigration cases in immigration court. One big part of our work and removal work is we want to do bond hearings. And so that helps. So if someone gets picked up and put in detention, they can get out of detention for a certain amount of time by paying the court while their case is being processed. And this matters because of this backlog. They could get out on bond and potentially be out for years while they are waiting to be called back into immigration court. And these are only people that get out on bond, are people that don't have criminal records of any type that are a danger to society. There are people in there for like traffic violations, for running a red light, things like that. That lets them come out of detention and spend time with their family, make plans with their family. If they're the primary breadwinner in their family, make financial plans, get powers of attorney signed, stuff like that to prepare to, even if they are ultimately deported, they get that little bit of time at home after getting out on bond. We'll also take cases that have potential relief. As you know, a lot of immigration cases have no relief. I am preaching to the choir to you guys. So if they do have a potential form of relief, we will help them with that. But we anticipate it will be primarily bond hearings, helping them get out while their immigration case is pending. And the third big area we're going to focus on is we identified a need for more geographic diversity in immigration services. There are currently no permanent immigration clinics in Kentucky other than Lexington and Louisville. So we live in a big state. I'm from Somerset, and low-income immigrants that are working hourly jobs, shouldn't have to take a whole day off of work to come to Lexington or Louisville to see an immigration attorney. So we're bringing those services to them. So for now, we're planning on traveling to Somerset and Covington once a month to do immigration screenings and potentially take their cases or make referrals. But getting the consultation out of the way, we can tell them what they would be eligible for before they drive somewhere to obtain a consultation. It's a weird year to start a nonprofit, guys. And we just started in Somerset last month. We had planned to start in March. And we're hoping to start in Covington by the end of the year. And I'll talk a little bit about the COVID precautions we're taking in a minute. Our consultations in Somerset are free of charge. We received a large grant from the Kentucky Bar Foundation and a grant from the Appalachian Community Fund to fund that work. So just to make sure everyone feels good about our work, I'm going to talk about our COVID-19 procedures. We are seeing clients remotely, which honestly also helps with our expanding the geographic scope of services. And we will probably continue this in the future. So we're seeing clients remotely either by phone or Zoom, depending on their technological capabilities, and only meeting with them in person if there's a true emergency for something that they need to sign very quickly. Like we had an asylum that was coming up on a year deadline that we had a very tight turnaround on. But other than that, we're meeting with clients remotely. We are going to Somerset for our remote clinics. But we are meeting with clients in adjoining rooms via Zoom. And so that allows us to collect their paperwork and for them to see our faces and know we exist, our masked faces. take their temperature, hand sanitizer, the whole gamut, but we're meeting in adjoining rooms and then cleaning between clients. The world looks a lot different now than it did in February, and we've had to shift everything like all of us have in our current life. So how can you help? We're a brand new nonprofit. Like I said, we launched in January. We're seeing clients. Both me and Ellen, our staff attorney. One of our big goals this year was to increase our visibility in the community, and it's honestly just been really hard with COVID. All of our speaking engagements have gotten canceled over the years. Things are starting to pick back up, but if you have opportunities for us to speak to your groups you're a part of, let us know. We are happy to do that. I do presentations on just our work, but also like immigration 101 presentations, and I've done like some CLEs and CEUs and stuff like that. Telling your network about our work, donating or letting us know about funding opportunities that you know about. We have partnered with grants with several other organizations, which has been fun, and referrals for services. And so I'll tell you a little bit about that. So referring clients, these are the type of clients we take. Clients must be at 250% or below of the poverty level. Though we're focusing on these specific types of cases, we can do a consultation with anyone. And we're already sharing referrals with Maxwell Street and Kentucky Refugee Ministries. Lee and I have emailed about it. Emily Jones and I exchange texts, sending clients back and forth to one another. But we're able to do consultations with anyone. We will screen them when they call to make sure they fit into our poverty guidelines. You can call or text. Our main number is 859-242-5083. I have found the clients really enjoy texting, which I do too, so I'm happy to take a text from them. And ask them to please leave a message if they do call. We're having a lot of people not leave messages, and it's hard to get to all the calls when we're also doing other stuff during the day. And they can also email our attorney at ellen@kyneighborsclinic.org, and she can help them set up a consultation that way. So this is my contact information, my email and phone number, and our website. So short and sweet. Anyone have any questions?
I was going to ask you about fundraising, and you mentioned grants. Any virtual fundraisers set up or thought about, or anything in the works?
We are planning a grand opening later this month because we just hired our attorney. We just got our office renovated. We do not have a virtual fundraiser planned right now. It's just really hard to, especially a new organization, to figure out what our fundraiser would look like and then to turn it virtual. Mm-hmm. So, but it's something we're talking about.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, let us know about the virtual opening. That would be, something we'd love to participate in. Yeah. Just at least watch and support you.
Awesome.
Sarah, I couldn't hear what the other person was saying, but could you give us an idea of what the 250% poverty level is for a family of 4? That kind of helps people figure out if they are eligible.
Yeah, let me, I have a chart. Let me pull it up really quick. 250% for a family of 4 is 65,000. So, yeah, we do charge fees like Maxwell Street and KRM do, and just like Maxwell Street and KRM, no one is turned away for inability to pay, but we do have a low fee charge.
And you said consultations are for anyone or only eligible?
They still have to meet our poverty guidelines, but we can, if they want to talk about any type of immigration issue, we can do a consultation. And our consultations are $30, and the same if someone can't pay, no one is turned away for inability to pay.
Are you doing I don't know if you said this, but are you doing the consultations right now in person or via email or?
Yeah, we're doing it via Zoom or via phone based on whatever the client's technological capabilities are. Most have been able to do it by Zoom, which is helpful, but some people can't, and so we do it by phone then.
So are you charging $30 per visit or just the initial and that's it, consultation?
Yeah, so it's $30 for the initial consultation where we screen immigrants for all their potential relief options. And then if we take their case, there's an additional charge for the actual case, depending on what kind of
Any
it is.
idea that how much would that be?
Let me
I know
pull-
it will depend on cases, but just an idea.
yeah, I can pull it up. Hold on just a second.
Thank you.
So for example, our application to apply for citizenship is $100. And we have a fee waiver system if people can't afford that.
So is it very similar to what a Muscular legal clinic does?
Yeah. Mhm.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Like you concentrate with the neighbor, like it's like a neighborhood. It's like you go, anybody can call with
Yeah.
any other immigration related to immigration, like people that wants to get a work permit or people that wants things, they don't know domestic violence cases. Do you do domestic violence? Because I didn't see any domestic violence there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be doing other types of cases than the cases I listed. We're just carving out a lot of time to focus really on these types of cases that other people don't have as much capacity to handle. So asylum and removal, but we're doing all types of immigration cases as our caseload lets us. We're really,
And the last one, I know there's a weird one, but I have a case with I don't know, a couple people that I hear that they told me, I could not believe it, but I mean, I'm sure it happens, that United States allow them to be here, but they have so many cases that it's been 2 years and they don't even have a permit to work. So this is something that you can help them, this family. There's 2 families that I know that are in this. I think it's awful because United States allows them, and they have papers that were able to come here legally, but they don't have an attorney. And it's been so long that some people say, I think there's one case that is 4 years, and the other family, I think, is a couple years. Can you help this family?
yeah, I'm happy if they already have an attorney, ethically.
They don't have it. That's the thing. They don't have it.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to talk to them. You can send me and we can do a consultation and see exactly what's happening.
I can contact you, to them, give it them to you. Okay.
There's lots of immigration cases that take years to process, and you don't get anything while they're processing. Or like a U visa, you don't get a work permit for 5 years, but your case at this point is like over 10 years processing. So there's many types of cases like that. So they might just be processing. But I'm happy to chat with them. I'm going to drop my
Okay.
contact info in the.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm kind of interested about the services in other areas. I think that's really important, and I would love to do an interview for RadioLex, not just about the services in general, but to let people know in other communities that they can have those services. This is something that you're planning to do like on a regular basis, like have a schedule to let people know that you're going to be in one place at what times on some days?
Yeah, so we're primarily in Lexington, so people can schedule consultations at any time in Lexington. When we travel to Somerset and Covington, I've kind of made a decision to not advertise our place and dates because the immigrant community sometimes is a little nervous about that, and I'm nervous as well. Yeah. And so we have flyers that we've distributed to those communities that indicate that they should call or text us or email to schedule their consultation, and then we'll tell them the date and location when they call. So. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll definitely send you an email, and I would love to do a short interview so people know that the services are available.
That'd be great.
Sarah, have you worked with Linda Villa Pasione in Northern Kentucky already with the EER?
What organization is she with?
EER, I can't remember exactly what it stands for, but maybe Carolina can remember, but she has a Northern Kentucky, basically all the things that they need, these types of resources. And I'm happy to connect the 2 of you. I just didn't know if you've already been working with them up there.
No, that'd be great. There's a couple of Hispanic centers I've been in contact with, and we have a board member that's involved in the Hispanic community. And I recently connected to a hospital up there that serves a Hispanic population. So yeah, but that would be a great connection I don't have yet.
Will do.
Yes, I believe before we spoke about this possibility, I spoke with Sarah about this possibility. I think
Oh, okay.
will be a great contact for her. And
Mhm.
I believe she will be thrilled to have you as presenter for is in education empowerment respect.
Thank you.
No worries. So either Danny or we can make the connection.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would, thank you so much.
Sarah, what is your language capability?
Um,
And the reason I ask is because we have a lot of people that are not only Spanish speakers, but other language speakers. And so what kind of issues do you have with that?
Yeah, so our staff attorney who is doing most of the consultations actually speaks French, and so uses an interpreter for Spanish and other languages. We use Lynn Bohr's nonprofit primarily when they're available, and then I speak some Spanish. I'm working on it. I've been out of practice for a few years. But Ellen is primarily meeting with people, so if they do speak any other language, we use an interpreter, a telephonic interpreter now, obviously, because of COVID.
And one of the reasons I ask is because the majority of new undocumented seem to be visa overstays, and that's the whole global, particularly Asian sector. And so I didn't want to flood you with requests for assistance if that was going to be a major problem for you. If we send out your contact to other language groups, civic groups that usually help us to distribute information. And one of the things that struck me was that perhaps you could give a presentation to the Mayor's International Commission so that they would also be acting as liaisons for you. Those are, a lot of them are community leaders who will help spread information and channel back outreach efforts.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to do that. Yeah, I mean, we use interpreters, every day for all different kinds of languages. Even, just, the several months that we've been doing consultations, we've seen, at least 10 or 12 different languages that we've had to use. Sometimes we have to go to language line if they're not available through Access Language Solutions, but I'm happy to speak with anyone, whatever language they speak.
And we have a list of about 118 trained interpreters that we can make available to you in about 42 languages. So
Yeah,
if that's, and those would be in-person interpreters that might be able to assist.
Yeah, that would be great.
Within the Zoom technology, not in person. Yeah.
Anyone else? So yeah, thanks for having me. We're excited to fill some gaps, in the immigration legal services world. Working with immigrants is my original passion. That's why I went to law school, and so I'm excited to be back doing it. I worked at Maxwell Street. Also, the attorney I just hired did an internship at Maxwell Street. I'm very good friends with Emily Jones. We're very tied to the immigrant legal services community already, and we're working together to make sure that we're filling as many gaps as possible and helping as many people as possible. I'm happy to serve as a resource for anyone. I'm happy to answer random questions for people. I do that all the time. Send me with a random immigration question, and my contact info is in the chat box.
Awesome.
Also, Sarah, if you want to send me anything by email, we can send it out to the GlobalX network for kind of introducing you as a new nonprofit partner. Just whatever you want us to send out if you're ready.
Yeah,
it goes out to about 700 people right now.
Yeah, we have some promotional materials, brochures and stuff like that I can send you.
Especially with your fundraising efforts. I think that there's the broader community that sees it, the better.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll send you some promotional materials I can share.
I have a question. I just thought about it. If somebody has a family that has been already detained by immigration, can you still help them?
Yeah, yeah. It's better if, like, initially when they're detained, you contact an attorney right away. But even if they've been in detention for a while, there might be some type of relief they're eligible for, and it's at least worth screening them to see.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else? Well, thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate it. Let's move on.